Hey, in everybody out there in Videoland, everybody out there in Radioland. I'm back. That's right, your city, your voice. Paul Kalem here, back in the studio after a couple of days of not getting here because of this wacky weather that we've been having lately. It's been insane out there, and I wasn't going out and going to break my, to get in. Stayed where it's nice and safe, did all my shoveling and snow blowing, cleaned everything up, and now we got 40 degrees out here and everything's a big, sloppy mess. Hey, what are you going to do? It's springtime in Niagara Falls. That's all I can tell you. Springtime in Niagara Falls, it's beautiful here, and the weather's going to be nice all week. And when I mean nice, I mean melting. So everything clears up. I mean, the snow plow never came to my street, never even cleaned it off. Anybody from council's listening, I don't know what the heck they were doing. They never got to my street, and it's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare, just a big mess. And of course, you always have that neighbor who snow blows everything on the road in front of his house rather than to the side. And then it turns into the jawbreaker. It turns into the Portage Road. That's what it turns into. Anyway, if you notice, I have no sidekick here today in the studio at 4680Q here. And that's because Dave Wheeler, my usual city council agenda guy, couldn't make it today. And that's what we're doing today. It's Monday. Tomorrow is the city council meeting. Starts at 4 for us. And we're going to go through the agenda today. Well, not we, I am going to go through the agenda and just take a look at it, try to explain some things to you, what's going on, and give you some insight into what's happening if I can. And of course, I don't get all the information. And also, the agenda could be changed by tomorrow morning. I don't like doing it the day of anymore because nobody could actually look at it and figure it out. By the time I got the video on, it was too late. So we started doing it on Mondays, but sometimes the agenda does change when we get to Tuesday morning and there's items that could be added, delegations that could be sought by different people in town. They want to get up and speak. So that could be added to tomorrow. I will look at them tomorrow morning. And if there's any major changes, I will report back to you at noon tomorrow on Trash Talking Tuesday in the studio. But for today, we're going to go through the city council agenda. First, let me get to my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and Hamel Machine Company. Now, look at this. The weather's changing. It's starting to get nice. We're going to get a little bit more of a cold snap, and then we're going into March 1st. This summer for me, so we're going into summer. That's it. We're going to start getting nicer weather. The temperatures are going up, and we're going to start seeing a little bit more sunshine during the day and a little bit longer amounts of daylight. The sun's setting a little bit later every day, 2 or 3 minutes a day. By the end of March, it'll be 7:30, and then we turn the clocks ahead. The daylight savings time, which I wish they would stop. I wish there was the motion from City Council to send a letter to Justin and tell him to stop with the daylight savings time, even a Ford for Ontario. But my sponsor, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Hey, come on. You could break down. Even in this weather, it's miserable to be out there today. It's windy and everything else, and we're going to start getting rain. You don't want to break down. You want your car running right. And in the next month or so, I would imagine Ken Hunter over at Wild Bill's Auto will be starting a summer program where he checks your car out, make sure your air conditioning's working, everything's working. Something you should do, be proactive, not reactive. He has all the equipment, all the mechanics, everything to make sure your car is running tip-top and you don't break down and you don't get stuck on the road. You can't ask for more than that. Well, Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, by the Kia dealership. And if in this weather, for some reason, you get into a fender bender, well, he has a full body shop. Get your car in, send it back to you in showroom condition. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, wildbills.ca, I believe, is the website. Wildbillsauto.ca is the website. Go there, check it out, make an appointment, go see Ken. He's going to take care of you. A good guy, supports the city, he supports the show. You can't ask for much more than that from a local business. And also, if you get a chance and you're watching this video, smash that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, no charge. All it does is notify you when I put up another video, and they usually go up around 3 in the afternoon. Although you can listen live, of course, on 4680q.com. And you'll be notified. You can comment, ups. Yes, you like what I say, down. No, you don't like what I say, I'm full of it. And a comment telling me why I'm full of it. I get in arguments every day about stuff, so don't worry about it. I'm more than happy to discuss stuff with you, to take criticism as well as praise if I'm right, and go from there. So let's get into city council here. Starting at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday the 25th is the date. And of course, it always starts with the in-camera session, which starts at 2 and runs till 4:30 or 5 usually. When they get back to order, get back to the council chamber, O Canada will be performed by Ariana Sanchez. Congratulations to her. It's always a pleasure to watch people get up and sing a cappella in City Council chamber. It's tough to do, and I give these people who sing credit. A land acknowledgement and traditional Indigenous meeting opening. So that order is there because City Council said they want O Canada sung first, and I agree. Adoption of minutes from the last meeting. Disclosures of pecuniary interest. In other words, if you have a conflict of interest or you're in to make some money on any decisions or lose money on any decisions council's going to make, you should declare the conflicts right then and there. Mayor's reports and announcements. Well, we never know how that's going to go. It should be a short meeting, to be honest with you. There's only like 6 pages and a couple of planning matters. Nothing really big to discuss, I don't think. But we never know when it hits the council table who's got something to say about what. And in that regard, it could be a little bit longer. It could be a little bit, I think, figure 3 or 4 hours should do it for this one. It's only 6 pages, and there's not a lot of planning matters. So, once we get by the reports and announcements, I don't know what they are. There are some deputations and presentations. So the deputation is going to be by Niagara Transit. Now, it says, remember, all speakers have a maximum of 5 minutes. Well, I don't think the guy from Niagara Transit is going to be talking for 5 minutes and then buzz off. I mean, we have a lot of questions, and if you don't, you should have, about Niagara Transit and what has gone on in the last 2 or 3 years since we've transferred the Niagara Transit to regional. We sent it over there. We were spending $7.5 million a year on it, and it was supposed to be a revenue neutral swap. In other words, send it to the region. It's not going to cost you anything more. They're going to run everything. And by the way, we saved $7.5 million a year for the last 3 years. Where's our money? What'd they do with that money? We haven't had to spend it. So where is it? Oh, it took our tax. No, it didn't take our taxes down. So where's our money? $21 million. Where is it? And this is why we need DOGE. A Department of Government Efficiencies. Where's our money? But even worse than not knowing where our money is, what they did with it, our city council, because they keep raising our taxes, so they must have done something with it, like spent it. Even worse is now when the region took over and they started giving the city their bill for transit, it was double what we were paying when it was in-house. And if you're going to look at this, that's item 6.1 on the agenda. And basically, this is one of Councillor Lococo's pet peeves. Everybody talked about transit being handed over to the region, and everybody was promised and that it was going to be revenue neutral. In other words, once we hand it over, we're not going to pay more than $7.5 million. It's going to just be a neutral swap. We're giving them the buses. We're giving them this. We're giving them all that. And they're not going to charge us anymore. Well, guess what? Never happened like that. And ever since then, Councillor Lococo, has been getting up and asking about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's here, Niagara Transit, because of Lori asking for them to come in and explain themselves. So it's going to be an interesting hemming and hawing and this and that. And blah, blah, blah from the transit guy who's got 5 minutes, but no, he's not going to have 5 minutes. He'll be talking for an hour, maybe. I don't know, half an hour, an hour. I doubt if he's going to go get up and do a presentation, everything in 5 minutes and call it a day. Come on. Please use it. We know better, right? So that's what's going on with transit. I can't wait to hear this guy's baloney story. And we'll find out. And I'm sure Lori Lococo has a lot of questions. Counselor Lococo. I keep calling her Lori, but I mean, I should be calling her Counselor Lococo. I'm sure she'll have a lot of questions about this. And my question is, of course, why did we get doubled up on? And number one, that would be my number one question. And my number two question is, where's the money? We save $7.5 million a year. Where is it? Didn't help us with our taxes. They've been raising them every year for the last 4 years. So where's our money? Two simple questions. So we'll see what they have to say, the transit people. This should be interesting. I can't wait for the discussion. And like I said, look for a lot of excuses, a lot of hemming and hawing. And we're why we had to raise them. The equipment was bad. It was junk you gave us. We had to spend money to buy new equipment and blah, blah, blah. The fleet, the. Yeah, it'll be a song and dance. It'll be a song and dance. And I guarantee you, it will not be a 5-minute song and dance. I can almost guarantee you that. You think it's going to be a 5-minute song and dance? Forget about it. Okay, over to 7.1, which is planning matters. And the first planning matter in 7.1 is at 8168 McLeod Road. So that's down by Kaler Road when I looked up the address. And they want to build 3 townhouses with 18 units in each block of townhouses for a total of 54 units. But they need a couple of amendments, zoning amendments, to rezone the property to a site-specific residential low-density group multiple dwelling, R4, to allow for the development of 3 blocks and 18 townhouses. Then we got the EPA involved, located at the rear of the property. There's some swampland or something that they have to watch and blah, blah, the regular stuff. But they are saying to approve it. Let's get it going. And let's see. Vacant land condominium is approved. 20 days of notice of council decision has been given as required by the Planning Act, provided no appeals to the decision have been lodged. And of course, the 3-year approval will lapse. And the mayor and city clerk will be authorized to execute the condominium arrangement agreement and any required documents to follow. So basically, I don't see this being turned down or anything happening with it other than it being approved as requested by the planners. It meets everything, and at the end of the day, we're going to have 54 more units into an already crowded McLeod Road corridor, which is a nightmare. They've been approving these things like crazy there. Big apartment buildings, small apartment buildings. They're filling in every piece of land around Niagara Square, that area over to Kaler Road that's available. And you know what? At the end of the day, we're lucky that these developments aren't going up. We know how to approve them. We just don't know how to make them happen. And if they did all happen at once, it'd be a nightmare because McLeod Road is already a nightmare without them. Imagine adding all these units there. Not that we don't need them. But I mean, there's no traffic study mentioned in any of this. And I know the region's supposed to be revamping McLeod Road, and hopefully they do to take this into account. And all the other ones that they've proposed to build there. I don't know. I think John Ringo Beam said there was 10 of them going up or something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe even more. In that, like say, a mile radius of that. So, subdivisions and everything. I didn't see any attainable housing units incorporated into this bill. Maybe there is. I never saw them. So I never saw any. So I'm sure somebody's going to ask about that. And I'm sure somebody's going to talk about the traffic. If they don't, they should, because it's worse and worse every day. And things like this aren't going to help. And they just keep approving and approving and approving, and luckily, like I say, by sheer bad luck for city council, but good luck for the area, they're not getting built all at once. They all come online. It's going to be even worse. And hopefully the region deals with the street and the problems in that area, traffic congestion and that, before these are all built. So it looks like it's going to be done. It's a done deal. We'll see what they say about it. You can read up on it. Item 7.1 at 8186 McLeod Road. 7.2, 7737 Lundy's Lane. This is an amendment to increase the density and rezone the existing motel to allow 118 bachelor dwelling units. And it's just down from, I think it's just down from the corner of Montrose Road from what I saw on the right-hand side. I think that, or is it down farther on the left-hand? I don't know. I looked at it. It's a motel that's been there for a while. It seems to me, if I remember, it's on the right-hand side if you're going west on Lundy's Lane. And they want to turn it into 118 bachelor units and rezone the existing motel to allow these bachelor units. That's what the proposal is. And the whole site plan and everything else, everything that they're doing to it is recommended that council approve it from the planners, from an official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment to increase the permitted density and rezone the subjects for the conversion of an existing motel to 118 bachelor dwelling units. And you're seeing this a lot with the motels out in Lundy's Lane. They're taking them and turning them into full-time dwellings, which we need in the city. So that's fantastic. And especially one-unit dwellings, because basically we do have a housing crisis and we have homeless people that may be able to get into these things, and they just need a place for themselves to get them off the street. So hopefully that's what's going to happen with them, or just people who don't want to have the maintenance of a house anymore, a big house or something. They just want a little bachelor pad somewhere to crash and relax. So it's they say to authorize the amending bylaw. So they say approve it. And I don't see any problems with this. I looked at it. Perfect place for it. Let them build this and house a bunch of people. It's going to be nice. I mean, I think they got a pool and everything there. So it's going to be a nice place. Hopefully the units are affordable, attainable for people. I didn't read about that neither in that one. Oh, no, sorry about that. I did. Here's my notes. 30 units will be affordable, which is nice to see. And this fits with the goals for the area. I think it's a good build, and it'll be passed. There was a public meeting. No attendees were there. I can't see it. I mean, Lundy's Lane is all hotels and restaurants and that. Now motels, I don't see residents there being bothered by this. So yeah, nobody would attend it. And that's going to be that. So I think that'll be approved. I don't think there's a problem there. Okay, and then we're going to move over to reports. That's all the planning matters. We have 2 planning matters, and they should get through pretty quick. That's what I'm thinking from what I've seen and what I've read here and the presentations. Of course, there could be some questions. Traffic's always a concern and that kind of thing. So there may be some other factors involved that I don't see. I don't get to see, or I don't know about, or somebody's asked the planners and the city staff about and found out some information they want to relay to the viewers, to the citizens of Niagara Falls, and that's fine if they do that. We'll see what it comes down to, but it doesn't look like there's anything big there. I think they'll explain it, go through the presentations, might be a question or two, and then they'll just approve it. Reports 8.1, our Niagara Falls Plan Phase 3. Policy Directions Report and Discussion Paper 7, Conformity and Implementation Plan. We're going to talk about that in a second after I talk about my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Now, who doesn't like a good pizza? Put up your hand. Yeah, I don't see any hands up. Everybody loves a good pizza. And in that regard, Pete's Pizza is the place you want to go in Niagara Falls for a great pizza on Victoria Avenue, just over here down the street. Why? Because Mike worked in an Italian restaurant for 15 years. Mike uses the Mancini family recipe for this crust in his sauce, and that's been around for 40 years when they started the first Pete's Pizza in St. Catharines. And he uses cornmeal on that crust, which is unbelievable. Sauce is good, the crust is good, cornmeal on the crust, and this is a neat little trick that he uses. A lot of people don't use, but my buddy Robert George will tell you, he knows his pizza too. He will say that the mixture of really good mozzarella, and they use Saputo, with brick cheese is the way to go when you make a pizza. Take it from me. It's the way I do it at home. When they throw that on the pizza with the proper ratio of sauce, you can't beat it. They cook it to perfection. Now, they're not one trick pony. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue has poutine, steak and cheese poutine, panzerotti. They have a menu that folds out. It's got so many different items on it. You're sure to find something you like. They're open till 2 in the morning on Friday and Saturday for your convenience. Come home, you want a little pizza? Bang, there you go. You got a nice fresh pie, fresh ingredients, right to your door, delivered if you want. Or you can go get it if you want. Or you can have Skip or Dash or any of those other delivery services bring it to you if you want. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, 905-374-2222, or go online, petespizza.victoria.ca, and you can order one right on their webpage. No problem. You can get it right to them. They'll have it ready for you. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you in. Support our sponsors. Thank you for supporting our sponsors because they support the show and they support the city. They're a local business doing good. Okay, what's this presentation, this report here, 8.1, Strategic Growth Plan. Well, it's their guidelines for expanding and building in the city with goals out to 2051. Planning for future growth now is important. I agree with it. We should be looking at it. Where's the city going to go? How are we going to expand it? Are we going to expand it properly so that we don't get horrible situations, horrendous situations, like Thoroldstone Road in Dorchester, Morrison in Dorchester, and McLeod Road? That's what happens when you don't have a plan. The plans have to meet what you think is going to happen as far as building and that goes. So we don't want to end up with any more of these disaster areas. What they don't plan for is where they're going to get the money for all these grandiose plans. Yeah, they put this big plan together. Well, there's never anything about financing in it. So we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to build this, we're going to build that, and the whole ball of wax. But there's nothing in there about financing it. Where are they going to get the money for it? And that's always the question: is where they're going to get the money for it. So I never saw any of that in there. And a growth plan is so determined by a lot of different factors, including the province, because you have to meet certain provincial guidelines for different things, environmentally, and for attainable housing, and fast tracking all this stuff and meeting certain criteria the province has handed down so that you get the money that they've promised if you can meet those demands. And like I say, our biggest problem isn't okaying project, it's getting them built and getting a piece of the pie. So we don't know how it's going to be funded. And if they ever tell you it's growth funded, well, we're going to have so many things that people are going to be paying taxes and well, let's just take a look at last year growth funding. Last year we grew our revenue because of development and that by 8 million. Nice sizable sum. Our revenues went up. But you know what? Our spending went up 15 million. So our growth fund is minus 7 million. And this is the problem. The growth funding, yeah, that's great if you're going to stick to it and you're actually going to have a plan. But the plan to grow, but not a plan to finance everything and how you're going to deal with it is another story. And that's why you need a Doge to take care of the spendthrifts and the different stuff that they're going to be spending on. And I'll talk more about that tomorrow. Yeah, so it's great that they have a plan. I mean, it's important they have a plan so we know where we're going. But at the end of the day, everything's got to be financed. All the infrastructure's got to be financed. Everything has to be financed. And it's great to grow, but we got to grow right. That's the whole point of it. It's got to be funded. So there's about 80 pages or more in these reports. I've skimmed through them, but you may want to delve into them farther yourself. I mean, just go there, go to the website, niagarafalls.ca, look for the City Council agenda, click on the agenda for today, and you'll be able to see all these reports and the PDFs and everything else, all these pages, read them over and over and over. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we get to that part of the presentation. So we'll see what they have to say. I always like watching these, seeing what they're saying. And then, of course, council's going to have questions. So we'll see what they have to say. If they do, I don't know, maybe they'll just put their hand up. Who knows with these guys? Okay, 8.2, item 8.2, housing starts in Niagara. They look to be woefully behind, even though there are a lot of planning approvals that have not come to fruition. And this is the consistent theme we've seen from here, and they even talked about it at City Council. We approve a lot, but a lot of these places don't get built. To be honest with you, in the last 2 years, I think I've seen one project actually get built. Now, I could have missed a couple. It's a big city. But I know the one on McLeod Road they were talking about at the corner by Ann Street there, across from the McLeod Road Fire Hall, on the corner of, I think is it Ann or well, it's a little street that goes into Ann maybe, across from Jubilee Drive. That one there went up, and it's exactly the way it was pictured, and it's been built, and it's really, really nice, to be honest with you. So that's one of the ones that did manage to get. Look at this guy. He's got the shopping cart in the street, and he's just walking around leaving it there. I don't know what this guy's doing. These guys, we got to do something with downtown. I mean, man, oh man. But anyway, they know how to do it, and they just don't know how to make them happen. And even though they have a report here on housing starts, they look to be woefully behind, even though there are a lot of planning approvals and that have not come to fruition. It looks as though the city's trying to count builds like motel conversions and LTC units in the housing start counts to qualify for provincial funding. And I think that's a battle they're having about, do these things actually count? So we'll have to listen to the presentations to get an explanation of all the numbers. There's a lot of numbers there. The presentation should explain it more to us, and we'll understand better what they're doing with these housing starts and how they're going to plan. Maybe somebody will get up and tell us how they're going to plan to make it happen, because this is always the big problem. Councillor Peter Angelo's got up and talked about it, and it's been an item of discussion for a couple years. And to be honest with you, it's been a point of concern, because at the end of the day, we don't get money if they don't start. I mean, yeah, we can say we've okayed all these projects, but if they don't get built, we get no money from the province. St. Catharines got a few million. We got nothing. Even though we had a lot on the books, and they're still fighting for the long-term care housing we've added and everything else. So we'll see what happens. Keep an eye on that one. Maybe they'll give us a more detailed explanation. If you go read the charts on that in there, they're really not, they don't give you a great explanation. They give you numbers, but they don't give you an explanation of why it's working or why it's not working. And that's what we want at the end of the day. As concerned taxpayers flipping the bill, we really do want these numbers explained. Like, what's going on here? What are we doing? Why can't you guys get this done? That's always my big question, right? Okay, moving on to 9-1 and 9-2 flag raisings. Well, you know how I feel about flag raisings. That's a big no for me. Flag raisings are always a big no. I don't want any flags going up. And this time around, especially the pride flag for the week. I mean, this DEI is over. It's over. And Niagara Falls has got to get with it. And this area has got to get with it. Now is we don't need this. We don't need these flag raisins for anybody, not just for pride, for anybody. It's over for all this kind of stuff. Let's not raise any flags except the Canadian flag. I mean, we're in a position right now where the only flag anybody wants to raise is the Canadian flag. Patriotism is at an all-time high because of Trump and his tariffs. Everybody's yelling and screaming. As a matter of fact, on February 28th, they want to have a day where you only buy Canadian, right? Canada just beat the USA in hockey. So patriotism is alive and well. We fly one flag, and that is the Canadian flag. Now, Lori Lococo, when she was in here, explained that there's 3 more flagpoles, and that's where they put these extra flags. It's not at City Hall one. Okay, I know a lot of people say that. It doesn't matter. I don't want any flags flying except the Canadian flag. We're not raising other flags. So, I mean, I have to go down when they raise flags. I have to go drive down there and see where these other flagpoles are and if there's any flags flying and what's flying at City Hall. I haven't done that yet, but I will. I'll figure it all out. But I don't think they should be raising any flags. Geopolitics has no business in municipal government, and neither does partisanship. By the way, if anybody's listening that knows what I'm talking about. So that's that. I'm always going to be against that, and I hope they do. I mean, St. Catharines, I think, canceled the Pride Festival, or cities are canceling these Pride festivals and canceling funding to them anyway. They don't have to cancel the actual events if they want to have them, but city's not going to fund them anymore. Other people are pulling out. It's over. It's over. A waste of taxpayer dollars. It's over. Okay, so speaking of tariffs, 9-3 and 9-4 are basically about tariffs. I mean, something that really city council has no say in. So why other councils are sending stuff to this city council to even read is beyond me. But they're there. They're there. They showed up. Point 9-3 and 9-4. I didn't bother reading them because city council has no say and it's relevant to. So why waste time on it? They're just little things that get sent to the city council. They'll file them. They'll look at them and file them, review and file. That's what's going to happen to them. But I don't understand why these municipalities are getting involved in it at all. You know, it's a provincial thing if it even happens. If it even happens. And, you know, what they don't take into account and what they should is that right now, the Americans are discounted 45%. In other words, one American dollar is equal to like $1.45 Canadian. So you want to buy an American dollar. So they're getting a 45% discount on our goods right now. So Canada throws a 25% tariff on it. They're still ahead 20%, right? So big deal. It's not going to affect anything that much. And no Americans are worried about Canadian tariffs. And only Canadians are worried about American tariffs. There's a reason for that. Because the dog wags the tail. The tail doesn't wag the dog. Americans are worried about any tariffs. And, you know, and all this bravado, you know, they're going to stop American booze from going on shelves in the LCBO. Okay, that's wonderful. So all the supplies they have of American booze are going to be sitting in warehouses, a waste of money they already bought. So you can't just do that. Just say, well, tomorrow we're not selling any more booze. What are you going to do with the stuff you got? And, you know, there's a lot of the logistics involved in it. So the prices go up. If Canadians want to buy more expensive American booze, go buy it. If they want to buy a bottle of 40 Creek rather than, I don't know, whatever whiskey they sell, they don't sell a lot of rye whiskey in the States other than Canadian rye, right? So, and they don't drink a lot of rye whiskey in the States other than Canadian rye. I mean, what do you see over there? Seagram 7 Canadian, Club, Crown Royal. But I don't even know if it's made in Canada and shipped over there anymore. It's probably made right in the States. I mean, you know, these things are So I don't think it's going to have any effect, and I don't think city council should be worrying about it. Yet they are. Yet they are. To me, it's just another big waste of time in the city council meeting. Review and file. That's it. You don't need any comments on it. I know Jim Daddy's worried about it and tourism and everything, but they're getting a 45% discount by just crossing that border. And they're not going to get any discounts on anything they do around here. They're not going to worry about that. I mean, the prices are the prices. So I don't know what the worry is in a tourist town. You know, you're Stelco in that you might be worried. And to play hardball with these guys is dumb anyway. I mean, they'll just produce the steel in the United States and these guys will be right out of the picture. You know, it's 350 million people, you know, huge cities with huge masses of people and factories that can be started up again. I don't know if I'd want to get into that whole political thing with them. So 9-3 and 9-4, if you look, check it out. You see, I don't think there'll be a lot of comments on it when it comes by city council today or tomorrow when the meeting is. 10.1, this you should read. This you should really read. Let's see. Did I miss any? I probably skipped a couple here. Let's just see if I skipped a couple. 8.1, 8.2. Yeah, we talked about 9, communications, flag raisins. We talked about that. And a flag raising for World Autism Day. Nothing wrong with declaring the day World Autism Day. No flags. No flags. 9.3. Do I have notes on 9.3 here? That's about the tariffs. Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus. Support of the Canadian Ontario government negotiations with the United States government on tariffs. We talked about that. So we're getting through this real quick. Like I say, it's going to be a short meeting. And we are on the resolution of City of St. Catharines calls to the provincial and federal government to protect businesses impacted by potential tariffs. How they're going to do that, I don't know. They're going to send Justin Trudeau a letter calling for the provincial and federal governments to protect businesses impacted by potential tariffs. And if they mean give them money, I don't approve of it. No, I don't approve of it at all. Don't give away more money. We don't need to be giving away more money. We did that during COVID and it killed everybody. It killed business. Don't make the same mistake again. And if we get him out of there, we probably won't. Now we're over to 10.1, which I was talking about. And item 10.1 is the correspondence from Community Services regarding homelessness. Like I said, you want to read that. It's really good. It's a memo from Jeffrey Sinclair, Manager Homeless Services at Niagara Region. Niagara homelessness update. So, read that out. You'll see some numbers and information on that. It's good to know what's going on with homelessness. We ask that question every day. And I hope there's a few questions to this gentleman there from City Council when he comes in. Let's see what he has to say. Now, 10.2 resolution. Town of Fort Erie provincial election health care advocacy. Attaches the resolution from Fort Erie adopted at its special council meeting of February the 11th. So pertaining to provincial election healthcare advocacy. And I didn't make any notes on that, I don't think. Let's see. No, I just read it. There was nothing there that I really thought was important other than a nice read. And if you want to read it, go ahead. They'll talk about it for a minute. I don't think it's going to be a big point of discussion. Of course, Fort Erie has its own problems with healthcare because they want to shut down their more emergency ward and that kind of thing. And of course, there's people in Fort Erie who don't want to shut down, obviously. And even when the Niagara South Hospital gets built, I don't think they'll want to. So read that, check it out, see what it's all about. 10.2. 10.3, notification of of application launch for DEI committees. Oh boy. Okay, 10.2, 10.3. Here we are. Let's go. 10.2, 10.3. DEI committees, of course. You know what I think about DEI committees? Yeah, not too much. Not too much, really. DEI is going the way of the dodo. We're starting to find out DEI is a nightmare way of dealing with anything. And they're starting to point to DEI for a lot of different things happening. Um, I've seen a lot about the crash over the Potomac. I've seen a lot about the crash in Toronto, the plane crashes, where DEI has been part of the culture that's been instituted. And unfortunately, with DEI, you don't get the best of the best. What you get is the best of the worst. Trying to meet quotas, much like affirmative action did back in the day. Personally, to me, the best of the best is the best of the best, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, sexual preference. It doesn't matter. If you're the best, you're the best. We don't want to hire people who aren't the best for the job. So they're setting up a committee, and I know CAO Jason Burgess has said a few times that this DEI initiative they have, and no, it's dead. They're canceling it in the United States. No more DEI in government. It's going to be the best person for the job, regardless of anything else. It's the best person, the most qualified. It's a meritocracy based on merit, not on anything else. So this should be totally dropped as an entity like DEI. It's dead, and governments are dropping the whole DEI thing everywhere. Niagara Falls is out of touch with this, and this should not only vote down these new vacancies being filled, but dissolve the whole committee and get in line with the rest of the world. And whenever you see one of these committees, there's always a price tag attached. I don't know what DEI committee is. It seems to me it's either $5,000 or $8,500. They seem to be the two numbers that are prevalent when you look at the ledger of expenditures of committees. Always 5,000, sometimes 8,500, and some committees are more. But that seems to be the standard. If you start a committee and put people on it, $5,000. And I don't even know if the counselors get paid $75 a meeting or something like that if they're on it. So anyway, that's basically 10.3. And once we get to 10.3, we've got the DEI committee appointments. They want to do that. Then you have the ratification of in camera. And that's basically what they talked of in camera. Once you get that, then we move to motion new business. So we'll see what happens in number 12, new business. There's nothing listed here now. There could be something by tomorrow where somebody could stand up and talk about new business, and then they have to put a motion through in writing and get it on the next agenda. So we'll see. It says a motion may be introduced without notice. That's procedure. You can get up and make a notice, then you got to put it in writing. It's got to go on the agenda. It's got to be brought forward and voted on. And there's no debate about it or anything. It dispenses with the requirement for notice on the affirmative vote of 2/3 of the members present. So that's what's going to happen. We'll see if there's anything brought up. I mean, I have a lot of motions I could bring up. I'd love to bring up a ton. I'm going to talk about a lot of them tomorrow. But for now, there's nothing there. When I look tomorrow morning, I may see something. I'm not sure. Now we get into the bylaws, number 13. And before we do that, I'm going to go to my last sponsor, and that is Hamel Machine Company. Now, Hamel Machine Company has been in the city since 1948. And I always knew they were a machine shop, and they did machining and making parts and stuff like that. The usual stuff machine shops do: repair parts, make new parts. But these guys, they're much bigger than that. Hamel Machine Company blew my mind when Bob was in here, the owner, talking about what they do. And this is a small company in Niagara Falls that I thought was small, but no, they deal with people around the world. They're innovators, they're inventors. They come up with solutions for problems for any industry. And they've done it for the agricultural industry and the wine industry. They've come up with things for rich products that basically um, streamline their operation and help them to be more efficient. That's what Hamel Machine Shop does. And they have this Hauser's Welding over here on Bridge Street, and that they call that APS, the Agricultural Products Division, and they've created parts and machines to harvest hydroponics and things like that. Around the world, they send their parts. They ship around the world for this stuff. It's unbelievable right here in Niagara Falls. But don't be confused with their ability to deal with the small homeowner. That's right. If you run over a rock with your lawnmower and blow a section out of your deck, you don't want to go buy a new lawnmower, a new deck for it. Take it to the Hamel Machine Shop. They'll weld it up, fix it, and make it run like new. You have a part you need made. They have 3D printers. They can make parts for you if you need them. They have the IT people. They have the engineers. They have the designers. They have everything over there. It's unbelievable what they can do. So if you need anything done, right down to gates for your backyard, they'll design them. They'll make them. They'll get them powder coated for you. And if you're really nice, I know Bobby's a great guy. He'll probably help you install them. So that's what they do. Big projects, small projects. They work for the city. They work for local industry. Unbelievable. Every city needs a Hamel Machine Company, and thank goodness we have one just around the corner here. Hamel Machine Company. Go to hamelmachine.ca to see exactly what they do. You'll be impressed. And tell them if you go down there to get something fixed, tell them Paul from your city, your voice sent you. And support our sponsors because they support the show and they support the city. They're good citizens, small business citizens in the city. Okay, to the bylaws here. And this is a reading of the bylaws. And basically, they're just a bunch of bylaws that have been discussed before and passed by council. And now they're getting ratified and finalized. And one bylaw was 2025-024, lands for the development of mixed-use building consisting of 118 dwelling units, which we already talked about on today's agenda. And they're going to ratify that bylaw, pass that. And usually they do these all this at once, if you know the procedure. They will do them all at once with a show of hands. And that's another thing I want to talk about. I think somebody should bring up a motion that I want every vote done manually, not by just a show of hands and say approved. I want every counselor to take responsibility and have to stand up and say yay or nay to something, so the taxpayers can see who's approving it and who isn't. I think we deserve that, and I think it should be done. Oh, it's a time waster. How much does it take? Peter Angelo, yay or nay? Strange, yay or nay? Van Nieuwesteg, yay or nay? Campbell, yay or nay? Lococo, yay or nay? Who's next to her? Baldinelli, yay or nay? Patel, yay or nay? Dabrowski, yay or nay? That's it. How long does that take? A minute? And let the people see who's saying yes or no. Everybody just throws up their hands, then he goes, "Oh, okay, everybody 4-1 against, or unanimous, or 2-4-3." I want people to have to say it in front of the taxpayers. Who's approving the 4.9% increase? Oh, 7-4-1 against. No. I'm approving it. Yes, I vote yes to increase your taxes. I vote yes to increase the taxes. I want every one of them to be accountable. Everything that's passed and gone to a vote, these guys should have to stand up and say yay or nay. That's what we should be doing in front of the taxpayer, so we know, we can keep track. Yeah, that's why I'd like the motion. You want to make a motion? There you go. Anybody out there? I want to know who's saying yes and who's saying no. I want them to stand up and face the camera and face the public to say yay or nay. Okay, but I digress. Bylaw to provide for the adoption of Amendment Number 178, City of Niagara Falls official plan. That's the other project, 7737 Lundy's Lane. And then we have a bylaw to amend bylaw number 79200 to permit the use of lands for the purpose of a boarding or rooming house. I believe that was the one last week where the guys want to build one on at the old Bethesda, and the other center was an old age home on Beaver Dams Road there. A bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the action of the City Council at its meeting held on 25th day of February 2025, which is tomorrow. So they're going to ratify that, and then that'll be an adjournment. And that's basically the end of the meeting, believe it or not. And I think I got everything. I went through them, but I might not have. So let's just check back real quick. We have time. We have lots of time here. I told you it was going to be a short meeting. It's going to be a short show, but we'll go through it again. Let's see here. I got all the pages here. We did 8.1. We did 8.2. We did applicants. Yep, we did that for the 118 units. Okay, 9, we did that. 9.1, flag raising. We did the flag raising. We did the resolutions. Ratification of in camera. We talked about that. The new business. We'll see. Now the meeting might have some stuff about new business, which I don't have here because there is no new business listed. That'll come out of the councilors or the mayor. But that's probably about it. That's about it. That's what I would say, that they are done. The city council meeting will be adjourned. And I think they should be out of there relatively quickly, just simply because it's the shortest agenda that I've seen. And that's what Dave said. Dave Wheeler goes, that's a short agenda. There's not a lot on it. And with one time waster not there, because you have to remember, Campbell is not there. He's taking a leave of absence. And Councilor Newesteg is gone. To run for PC, the PC party to be MPP, which I'll talk about more tomorrow. So at the end of the day, it's a pretty concise and short agenda today. And that's all right. Easier to follow along, easier to see what's going on. And the two big things you have to think about or think about when you're talking about it is Niagara Transit. We definitely want to see why it went from 7.5 million to 16 million, our share, when it was supposed to be a revenue neutral swap-a-rooney, right? You take the responsibility of regional transit. We give you all our buses and everything, but remember, we still hold the wrinkle. We still hold the WeGo that goes down to the parks and all that. We're still running that right now. But we've given everything else over, and it's doubled in the charges to the city. We were half the price when we were running it ourselves. So that's a good area of concern. I'm glad to see them in there. They've been asking that for a long time. And I also would like to see, what I'd like to see on council is something about this 18% that we give to the Niagara Regional Police. I don't know if you're aware of that, but 18% of the casino revenue goes to Niagara Regional Police. That is a deal that was made by the Penguin. And my take on it has always been this. Listen, we're providing them in their budget $213 million to run the Niagara Regional Police Force. And Niagara Falls pays a big chunk of that, of course. It always does, because we are one of the biggest cities, St. Catharines and us. So we pay the most with St. Catharines. So we're already paying a big chunk of that. Why are we giving them another $3.6 to $4 million? 18%. Why? For what? They're already patrolling our streets. They're already watching out for bad guys down by the casino. We have the OPP down there. We have the RCMP down there all the time. They're always around somewhere down there. Why are we paying this money? For what? And Lori has questioned this. And even Wayne Thompson back in the day questioned it. So now I think somebody should get them in here, or somebody should go and talk to these guys and say, you're not getting it anymore. You're not getting it. That's all there is to it. What are they going to do? Arrest you? Right? I mean, somehow we got to get out of this. I don't know what the contractual obligations are or whatever, or how you can get out of it, but somehow we got to get out of this. We don't want to be giving away 3.6 million to them for patrolling something they already patrol. That's always bugged me. It's bugged Lori, and it's got to be brought up. It's got to be brought up in a council meeting. There's a few things that have to be brought up, and I'm going to talk about all them on my show tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a show about Doge, how we can cut money off of our budget and save money for taxpayers, and this Niagara Transit, getting back to the original thing, is part of it. You know, why are we paying double when we're supposed to be revenue neutral? The swapperoonie. That's why we gave them our buses and gave them all the equipment. Tomorrow, we might get a little bit of an explanation from it, but don't be surprised if there's a lot of BS being thrown around about it. Anyway, we got lots to talk about tomorrow on the show. City council meeting starts at 4:00 tomorrow. We'll be getting into it a little bit more tomorrow. I'm going to look at the agenda, see if there's anything new on it, and if there is, I'll bring it to you guys. Make sure you know if you have any comments or anything, let me know tonight. If you have looked at the agenda and there's things that you think they should be talking about, I'll get them on air tomorrow. When you see this video, get them on there. Or if you're listening live, send me a email message if you want, Paul Lemire at cogeco.ca. You can send it through Facebook, Paul K. Lemire. Put it on the comments on the video. And that's another one, Paul Lemire. My channel, Your City, Your Voice is the show. And we'll see if we can get through this. The more people involved, the better, of course. That's the way it goes with these things. We want a lot of people involved, and we want a lot of people getting out to vote next election. And don't forget, this Thursday, the 27th, is when it comes down for the MPP. So check out their thing. I've been kind of reviewing them. Check out what they have to say, and see who fits your notion of how you want this province run and who best represents the city. And make sure you get out there and cast your vote. We want a good turnout. And I mean, a lot of people are saying it's a two-way race, and they're probably right. But, you know, you don't have to vote for either of the two main parties if you don't want. There are four other candidates with the Liberals. There's not just PC and NDP. That's what people think, because that's what you see the most of. They get the most money. But there's Liberals, there's New Blue Party, there's Independent, and there's Green Party. There's other candidates out there. Check out their platforms. I checked them all out. Check out their platforms. They're all online. If they don't give you a flyer, we didn't get flyers from everybody. And choose the one that most represents your views on the way you like to see it run. People say you're throwing your vote away. I don't think so. Because your vote is what's personal to you, what you think is right. So they say you're throwing it away. If you don't vote for Gates or PC or Newest Day, you're giving the vote to one or the other or whatever. That's nonsense. And also, don't get caught up in the notion that you have to have the representative from the prevailing party in Toronto at Queen's Park to get anything done. Listen, every one of these guys, Ford Crombie, Schreiner, Stiles, any other leader, Derek Sloan of the Ontario Party, I think he leads that. Everyone, and there's an Ontario Party candidate in Niagara Falls, and the Niagara Falls riding as well. Every one of those guys, every one of them want votes from this riding. And so they do things for the riding to get votes. Now, sometimes, sure, if you vote in their candidate, they reward you with something you might have been waiting for. But we're already getting it. Stan Cho, the Minister of Tourism, knows how important tourism is, not only to Canada, but to Ontario. And we are the premier tourism area. He's coming down here. He wants to develop it all, regardless of if it's Gates or Newesteg or any of the other ones. He's going to get it done because it's good for Ontario. And that includes Niagara District Airport, widening the QEW, doubling the Skyway Bridge. That will all get done. And it doesn't matter who you elect to represent Niagara Falls. And don't let anybody tell you, I've read political papers on it, and they have said that it's a falsehood that if you don't elect the prevailing party as MPP, that you're getting nothing. I used to think that way. I used to sit here and talk about it that way. But we're not going to get nothing. It's not true. It's not true. It's something that's being forced on people or told to people to get them to vote for one or the other candidates. Right? So don't buy into that. We're going to get things no matter what. What you want is somebody who's going to represent the city, represent your views, and take it to Queen's Park. That's what you want. Who that candidate is, that's up to you. That's up to you. That's why you vote. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. Gary Wilkins, I might owe you another minute. Sorry about that, my friend. But I'm out of here. I've got a meeting I got to get to talking about something. And Gary, I'll let you in on it soon. I'll let everybody else in on it soon, too. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls in the studios of 4680Q. Don't forget to support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamill Machine Company, and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Great local businesses who deserve your support. And they're Canadian. So on February 28th, if you're going to have a day of Canada, take something to Hamill to get fixed. Go grab a pizza from Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, or take your car in and get it fixed at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Be a patriot. Now, see, I don't care about that. I buy what I want from where I want. Yeah, that's the way it is. It's called freedom of choice. So I'm not getting into this bed with everybody on February 28th. Just like when they have Earth Day, I don't shut off all my lights and sit in the dark. No, I turn all my lights on because there's more power. Everybody's got their lights off. I got more power for myself. Power. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget, use it. Please use it. See you tomorrow. Trash Talking Tuesday. We're going to get into some really good stuff and stuff that people always yell at me about. I've been on big discussions on Facebook. Everybody's been giving it to me. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao. God bless you all. See you tomorrow.